I'm gonna go house shopping now.
And
So the question is, okay, so they can do all of this, and we really as realtors can't fight this, and we shouldn't fight it because that's going to be a fun experience for everybody. Mm-hmm. Our job maybe no longer looks like showing them 10 homes.
that would
Maybe
be
they already toured the 10 homes,
Yeah.
and they go, hey, Marissa, I'm ready to go see this one. I want to see if it smells. I want to see if there's any issues I'm not noticing. Like, I need you to go see this one with me. I'm ready to buy. Mm-hmm. Another thing we talked about.
We're live, by the way.
We're live?
Yeah, but you can share.
So I was just talking about this thing at...
Make sure you didn't say anything.
Hello, everybody. So we were just talking about something. I was just at the Grand Rapids Association of Realtors, part of this thing called Hackathon. And the question they posed to us was, how do we ensure that realtors stay relevant to the transaction in 2029? Mm-hmm. And I just was having fun playing with what it looks like house shopping in 2029. So anyways, that's what you guys got to overhear.
Yeah.
If you have any advice for me, we're supposed to present right after this video. I got to run back and I got to present a concept. So if you have any ideas, let me know. But this is Marissa Harrington.
Hi.
From Kalamazoo.
Welcome.
Yup.
Thanks for making the trip.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
So what we're going to do is we're just going to have a conversation, hopefully.
Okay.
So I know a lot about you because we spent some time on the phone
Yes.
and stuff like that. So hopefully we'll be able to share that, but kind of break the ice and
Mhm.
get the weirdness out of the way. Probably don't have any because
No,
you're
I
a
don't.
theater
Yeah.
person.
I
so,
don't get weird.
Oh, yeah. Theater. Yep.
Yeah, not nervous
I
at
don't
all.
have boundaries at all. So, sorry.
Okay, this is a different kind of live stream.
Yep.
So
Just buckle up.
I'm going to ask some fun questions. Answer
Okay.
the first thing that comes to your mind.
Oh, God.
We'll all
Okay.
answer them.
What's the order, Leo?
Dang it.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
1, 2,
Okay.
3. All right.
Ready.
Favorite thing in your closet right now?
My shoes.
All your shoes?
All the shoes.
All right. I have some untuck it shirts that you can wear untucked.
I've got some button-down collars that I like to wear. I went out and bought them in white, blue, and gray. I bought 3 white, 3 blue, 3 gray.
That's very efficient
Yeah.
of you.
Yeah.
And I just swap out the jeans and the pants,
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Vanilla.
Mint chocolate chip white.
Oh, that's good.
Really?
Yeah, it's way better.
I'm a green mint chocolate chip fan. But what I will say is that vanilla is underrated.
Yes, it is.
Vanilla is something
Thank
so
you.
good about vanilla. I'm gonna have to say vanilla.
Like vanilla bean?
I mean vanilla, yeah, like
Vanilla
French
bean
vanilla.
is good. French vanilla.
vanilla.
Yeah, I would like
It's
to
strong.
amend my answer to French vanilla.
All right, good.
Yes.
Favorite type of muffin?
Blueberry.
Mine too.
I'm gonna go banana bread muffin.
Ugh.
Ooh, that's good.
What?
I hate bananas, y'all.
Oh.
Name one of the 7 dwarves.
Sleepy.
Dopey.
Mopey?
No.
Dopey.
Mopey.
I don't know.
He was just really
Stingy?
depressed all the time.
I'm just
Doc.
making
Grumpy.
grumpy, stingy. I don't know.
no,
Dopey.
not stingy.
I don't know the names of them.
Sleepy. Polka dots or stripes?
Neither?
Neither?
Ew.
I would wear vertical stripes.
I have dots on right now, but I will go stripes.
American Idol or The Voice?
American Idol.
I'm an Idol
I'm
guy.
old school.
I'll go old school. Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seacrest
That started
out.
it all.
Bringing it back.
Yep.
Seacrest out.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's the last podcast you listened to?
Ooh. So there's a podcast called I'm not gonna try and attempt the name, but the podcast is about getting referrals for your business without asking for them. I
Yes.
just cannot
Nice.
freaking remember what the name of the podcast
okay.
is.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't listen to podcasts.
What?
I haven't.
I listened to a ton of like true crime podcasts,
Yeah.
like investigative journalism type stuff, which was really
Okay.
fun. I love that kind of stuff. But I think the most recent one was a drive up north, and my wife put on either the Robcast with Rob Bell or a podcast with Richard Rohr.
Okay.
And they were, I'm not sure exactly what it was about, but yeah.
Leo,
Usually,
what do you do in the
Richard
car?
I listen to music.
Organ music, Gregorian chant.
No, I listen to
When I was new to real estate, Leo got me his car.
I do
there
like
was
some good
Gregorian chant on the radio.
I do like
believe
some
you.
good Byzantine chants.
Okay.
Byzantine chant.
That's a good.
That's the Greek
That's
stuff.
better than podcast. Okay.
So, Marissa, you're
Yes.
in Kalamazoo.
Yes.
How long have you been in business?
4 years in July.
4 years in July.
Yep.
And what did you do before real estate?
I was a mom and a wife, and I was getting my bachelor's degree from Western in theater performance.
Which you still do.
Which
right?
I still do. That is my second gig, yes.
Okay.
But I've always, in some way or another, since moving to Kalamazoo, have my fingers in real estate. So property management, and then I was an admin for a team before I got licensed.
So property management experience, then admin,
And
which
then
is good.
admin,
And then you
yep.
said, hey, I'm going to the show.
Yes, because I was
Alright.
tired of sitting in an office by
Alright.
myself.
That's good.
I wanted to be in the mix.
And so how's it been going for 4 years? Is it increasing? Is it struggles?
It has. Well, definitely struggles. I mean, you can't be an entrepreneur and not have struggles. It's not, daisies and dandelions all the time.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of weeds and dry months, and so
Feast
it
and
invigorates
famine,
me.
yeah.
Feast and famine, and it invigorates me though to be my own boss and to set my own schedule and really grow my business as much as I want to. So it's been a blessing. I got into it after my son was born going, I'm going to do this part-time. It would be awesome if I made like $40,000 a year. That would be great. Contributing to my household. And it took off after my first 6 months.
Oh, really?
So, for me and also I would say for my family, it's not something that we planned on mommy doing for, 80 hours a week, but it just kind of turned into that. So it's been awesome because it's not what we planned. So it's exceeded expectations. Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. So when we talked a couple years ago, let me ask you this first.
Yes.
It went off, it took off.
Yeah.
How did it take off? Because you know a ton of people. Did you buy leads? How does it, some people don't take off
that
and some
is
people
true.
do. So how did it happen for you?
There were a few factors. So I sat in my first 6 months. I did not start at 5-star. My first 6 months of being a realtor, I would just get up in the morning after dropping my kids off, and I would just come to the office. I had no business, and I'm not originally from Michigan and Kalamazoo, so for me, I was really intimidated by creating a network of people that would actually work with me. But I would just go in the office and sit, and I would listen.
Really?
To everybody. I would sit and listen to everyone's conversations. I would sit and listen to people prospect.
Like phone calls and stuff like that?
I would watch people have client meetings. And so I just soaked everything in for like the first 6 months. And I spent a lot of time building the business, like the foundation of it, like my logo and headshots. I was like, I have nobody to give these cards to.
But they look great.
But for me, I just felt like, I need to act like a business owner. I need to get myself up out of the house every day and go. And so that's what I did. And I was just persistent for a while. I did buy leads at first from Zillow just to jumpstart. And this was back when Zillow was pretty new. Pretty new.
When did you? I'm really curious about this initial 6 months. I want to know two things.
Yes.
What was the most important thing you learned from watching? And what lessons what did you learn to do and what did you learn not to do? And then, how long in before you started buying Zillow leads?
So what I learned to do was to be persistent and to show up every single day consistently. What I learned not to do was to sit back and hope that business was going to come and cross your fingers and your eyes and your toes. And think that just because you're in business that, someone is going to use you just on GP. That's what we say in LA for just cause.
Okay.
So I learned that that's not enough. you being licensed is not enough for business to come. You can't sit and wait for it to fall in your lap. I think I was about 4 months in when we started Zillow.
You started seeing some people were doing it. There was some success there. So like, let's give this thing a shot.
Yep. And so, for me, it was cost effective to invest in Zillow at this time. It was very different than it is now. Because I said, hey, if this even gives me 10 leads a month, that's more than what I have right now. Right. And so, I did have some success with that at the beginning, but I also started working my sphere, started getting more involved in my community. And that's really when the business started jumping off. Yeah, just getting out there.
I have a kind of a related question. So when you say I learned to show up and be here, that's code for me. What is it? What did you do? Just sit in the office? Or did you try different stuff that you saw people prospecting?
So for me, I didn't start out with 5-star. So
the other brokerages have methods, right?
Right.
That they encourage.
I was required to go to training.
Okay.
Twice a week for 3 hours each training, and I was given this huge binder, and then it was like, okay, go do business. And so I would come out of these trainings and I would take the binder and I would go sit in my office and just kind of go through and go, okay, but how do I do my job? Yeah. That was the extent of what I knew to do. And so I just started, Googling how to be a successful realtor, and because I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Yeah. I didn't know what the heck to do. I started remembering certain systems and methods that when I was an admin, the person that I worked with used, right? Which was, send a letter to everybody and tell them you're in business, and invest in postcards. And then I realized very quickly that's expensive. So there was a lot of trial and error that first 6 months. But, I had to, like you said, I did have to keep showing up and just doing something, like putting one foot in front of the other. But I was very consistent about that, so that in month 7, my phone started ringing. So that was awesome. And then it didn't stop.
What's your business look like now? Do you buy leads? Do you have...
So we still invest in Zillow, but I have pared it down by thousands of dollars a month. I keep the bare minimum right now because we do have reviews on Zillow that I love still utilizing. When I have a listing, because I'm a premier agent, my listings get priority. People will call me on my listings and not someone else, so I keep it for that. But as far as depending on that for business, we don't anymore. So we're at about 5% Zillow and 95% referral and past clients and stuff. So yeah,
it's big.
Yeah, it's completely changed.
Wow.
Generally, how much business do you do in a year, like transactions?
So last year we did 78 sides.
Okay.
Which is about 9.5. I do have a team. Yeah. Okay. So I grew my team a couple of years ago because, like I said, originally the intent was to do this part-time. And then it grew, and I was like, I just need help. I'm working 90 hours a week and doing 50 transactions a year by myself. And so I just needed like some assistance to leverage my time so that I could still, I have young kids. So I could still see my family and be involved in the school like I wanted to be. And I do, like you said, I still do theater. So still wanting to live my life and also grow my business. So I saw having a team as a solution to that. So I've had a team for the past 2.5 years now. Okay. Yep.
It's a lot of transactions. So you have, are you still a top producer fan? Is that kind of runs your business?
No. So we've segued into KV Core
How's it going?
Since Friday. I prefer it. Okay. I prefer it. There's a lot of really great features, and mostly the lead conversion part of KV Core, where I can literally get a text if someone goes on my website. Yeah, is awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys have really put energy into trying to master it.
Yeah.
To get it under.
I mean, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
I would say the bare minimum at the moment, because
all right.
it's a lot. I mean,
It is
there's
a lot.
KV Core is one of those things where there's so many features, and I think trying to master every single part of it is a little overwhelming, especially if you're at the same time, trying to run a business.
Mm-hmm.
So there's certain things that we're latching onto and we're kind of doing it in phases.
Yeah.
Learning how,
Picking certain things now.
Very
Yep.
smart.
So like we're using the landing pages
Yep.
as lead converters, and like I said, having people, having KV Core connect to my website, and I get that lead right away in 3 different ways. I mean, that's phenomenal.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's been awesome. So yeah, we stopped paying. I mean, we were paying $100 a month for top producer for like the bare minimum.
Yeah.
It just didn't do it for me.
So do you have the Zillow leads just go straight to KV Core, and then
Yep.
KV Core starts?
Oh yeah, yeah. So
That's cool.
it's been awesome. We like it,
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
and it's free.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm so glad to hear that, because it's one of those programs where, well, this is the truth with any technology platform, right? You just get a varied level of adoption.
Yeah.
And it's fun to hear from someone who's kind of grabbed and making it work.
I like it. Every time somebody, not somebody, but KV Core will text me, and it's a lead that we've been nurturing for like 6 months.
Yeah.
And text me every single time this person goes on the website.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
That's very cool.
What was I going to say? Brain freeze.
You
So,
like French
rest
vanilla
me.
ice cream.
I do like.
So how's it going this year? You said,
Yeah.
are you still on pace to do 70 plus transactions?
So after the first quarter, and to be honest, as a team, we plan out the end of the previous year, so December. So we sat down as a team and said, what do we want to do next year? What's our goal? What do we project the market is going to look like?
Yeah.
And so obviously, we assumed that the seller's market was going to continue. I think what we did not account for was that it was going to be a tighter market this year than it was last year.
Yeah, the market is tight.
Good God.
Yeah. It's true.
It's not something that you really can prepare for, because last year was a seller's market, and it has been for several years. But that seller's market has looked differently
Every
between
time.
2016 and now, right?
Yep.
So we knew that it was going to continue to be a seller's market. We just couldn't really prepare ourselves for what that meant for 2019. So we went into this year going, okay, last year we did 78. Let's shoot for 100. And so after first quarter this year, when we saw, so there's nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
How do we adjust? Because what we're seeing this year is that it's buyers just cannot, for the life of anyone, win.
That's tough.
They just cannot.
Especially if they have any sort of special circumstance.
If FHA, VA, RD, only putting down 3%, whatever, they are getting moved to the bottom of the pile in situations where it is, 10 to 20 offers every single time. What we're experiencing in Kalamazoo is that the average home price is slowly ticking up for a lot of different reasons, but our first-time home buyers are being squeezed out of the market right now. If you're under $200,000, you're kind of straight out of luck.
Yeah.
So no, there's no way that you can account for that. So you have to adjust. So not that we don't care about buyers and aren't focusing on buyers, because I love buyers, but last year buyers were the lifeblood of the business. We have 53, right? We've always been a buyer heavy team, and so now as a team we're shifting focus to a seller heavy team. What does that look like? How do we prospect differently for sellers? Because most of the time when we get referrals from our spheres for buyers, so and that's been like, it's easy. I just sit back and the phone just keeps on ringing, but I have a stack of buyer files in my office right now that these are people I can't do anything with, unfortunately, or we're just having to go out weekend after weekend, and that hasn't really been the trend for us. Normally we can get people wrapped up pretty quick. So what does it look like to be a seller focused team now is what we're shifting to.
What have you learned or tried?
Well, I mean, we're still in second quarter, so obviously this decision making just happened. But
Hey, sure, you gotta start someplace.
Yeah, so we just recently, let me backtrack a little bit. So G-Car sends us, and I'm sure G-Rar does the same thing. So G-Car sends us like monthly stats, like what did March 2019 look like? Where were houses selling? How many? What was the average home price, right? And then as a team, we sat down and said, okay, who is our target market? So we're millennials, zennials, whatever you want to call us, 30s, and families, young families. Like that's who our market is. So where do they buy? And so we took this whole list of all the different K areas in G-Car and said, okay, where are they buying? What's the average price point? Do they already own a house and do they need to move to the second one? And so there are a couple of neighborhoods that we've solely focused on. There's three neighborhoods that we've decided to focus on. So we've sent postcards to one neighborhood. We just did this last week, and so we have a campaign that, a marketing campaign that we're going to be doing to this one neighborhood where it's mostly young families who are probably going to be interested in like the second home. So we're going to farm them. And in one neighborhood, I talked to Paul about this, neighborhood garage sales in Kalamazoo are like the thing. So we're going to be focusing on one of our target neighborhoods for their garage sale, so because we've sold a lot in that neighborhood, like a ton. It's the neighborhood I moved from 2 years ago. So have a lot of friends and relationships and past clients in that neighborhood. So we're like, hey, how can we help you guys maximize on your garage sales coming up in the summer, right? That's so fun. Seriously, yeah, so but we try and be very intentional and strategic about what we do because I'm not a typical salesy, stuffy, no offense to anybody, but I'm just not very good at sales. I'm good at relationships. So anything that we choose to do is centered around that, right? I'm not a door knocker, to be honest. We were talking about this in our meeting in Kalamazoo this morning with Mary that, I just feel like if I have a database of 400 people, why am I not focusing on those 400 people?
Yeah.
Who already know me, like me, and trust me.
And would be happy to refer you.
What, like, if I'm going to spend $2,000 on something, I don't want to spend that on leads. I want to spend it on my sphere and our past clients. So we're also doing quarterly events now.
Sweet.
So, just being very intentional and just hoping that pays off. Yeah.
It's exciting.
It's different. It's just a different way. It's a different way of doing business than we've had to do it. But, being a business owner, you have to adjust. You have to recalibrate and go, okay, that's not working. Let's pivot.
What are you doing to maintain expectations and positivity and relationships with those buyers that can't find a place? How do you keep them happy?
That's hard because, to be honest, depending on the person's situation and what their expectations are, that may not be possible. Because you have some buyers that straight up will say, like, these are my expectations. I know you're telling me that I need to compromise or I need to adjust, and I don't want to. I'm gonna stand my ground. Right, I don't want to. And so those are the people that we're seeing fall off because in this market, we have a buyer's meeting with everyone. So we did Ninja. So we do a buyer process with every single buyer. And so we're sitting down in these meetings going, okay, so this is what the market is doing. You need to understand that your dollar's not going to go as far as it probably would have 2 years ago. What are your needs? What are your wants? What's your cream puff house? Okay, that's great. That may not be this house, right? It may be the next one. So setting expectations up front. So you have certain people who are listening to that and they're being successful because we're encouraging them to be persistent and to not give up in this market. And then you have those that are like, yeah, I'd rather rent. And so we keep them in our drip and we maintain the relationship and they still are invited to our events and stuff. But for some people, this market is not for the faint of heart, to be honest. You gotta be persistent. And
you gotta be gutsy. Considering you have to pay more than 20 other people are willing to pay.
Yes. Or just, give the seller what they want. If they want 60 days after close, okay.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Are you sure you want to go watch them for that $1,000 because of the wobbly hand railing?
Exactly. So just adjusting. I think people, like I said, last year was a seller's market and we were seeing a competitive market, but this year it's really encouraging buyers to not nitpick and not use HGTV as their litmus test for what they think is going on here, because that's not the case at all. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm just going to ask for these 20 things after inspections and no, you're not. Yeah. So just setting expectations. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. You have a wonderful like business mind.
Thank you.
Do you read? Do you have like gurus you follow? Do you have a normal thing?
Well, like
you
I said, I
always
listen
feed
to
that?
podcasts. Honestly, this is gonna sound super corny, and not a plug for 5-Star in any way, but it's gonna end up being that. But when I switched over to 5-Star, I had been in business a year, and that same year that I came to 5-Star, I did Ninja. Okay. Ninja changed my business.
Sweet.
And how I think about business, how I start my day, right? So a lot of things that I do and that I encourage my team members to do comes from things I learned from Ninja. So doing affirmations every morning. Like I said, I'm listening to this podcast, and there's also a book that goes with the podcast that I've been reading through. So some podcasting, some reading, blogs. I still do that. I still go on Google and I'm like, how can I be the best at XYZ?
Yeah.
I mean, we have the internet at our fingers. Why not?
I think that also YouTube is under. I mean, YouTube
I agree.
is obviously a big deal, but I feel
Agreed.
like realtors don't use YouTube properly.
I agree, and we definitely get on YouTube too because
There's so many people out there just giving awesome
what
advice.
tools can I use to manage my business that are free? And that's how I discovered Trello. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I mean, there's going to be some people on there who are like hawking their wares.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, some of them people are going to be on there just giving off really good, real advice.
Agree.
I fixed a lawnmower watching YouTube video. I've changed. I mean, I've done all sorts of things just by watching a YouTube video.
Yep.
I think that real estate's the same way. There's so
I agree.
There's so much if you value self-learning, if you value being resourceful.
Yep.
Right?
I agree.
There's awesome tools out there.
I'm also part of like 20 real estate groups on Facebook.
Are you?
Man, it has been
neighborhood
the
groups
best.
or national groups?
No, like national groups of
Like
other
private
realtors.
Groups of realtors forming these little think tanks essentially.
Yes, like 20.
Yeah.
And have gotten so like I can't even explain to you how many nuggets.
Yep.
Helpful. What's going on, because I think it's easy for us to just get caught up in what's going on in our markets here locally and what are people doing here, and don't understand that in other parts of the country, people are 20 steps ahead of us. They're doing what we're doing right now, they were doing 3 years ago. So being a part of national and in some groups international, like you said, many little think tanks on Facebook. I mean, they're in my news feed every single day.
So you don't have to fly to Nashville or fly to Miami or go to San Francisco to get this information.
No, it's the easiest thing. It's free, and you're constantly, what you focus on manifests, right? So if I'm constantly, inundating myself with real estate ideas, strategies, and even people that go in there and are like, I'm so tired and I'm so discouraged, and then seeing 3,000 people comment, "You've got this." That does something to you. Where I'm like, okay, yeah, me too. I've got this, right? So I just think iron sharpens iron, and that's the best free resource that we can be using.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, Dom, do we have any questions for Marissa? You've shared a ton of great stuff. No?
Would you believe it's 1:30?
Is it? That went by fast.
Just like that. So do you have any people will watch this and they'll continue to watch it and you'll get a lot of views and stuff.
Okay.
Do you have any like closing words, like someone who goes, I wish I was like her, or I want to do that? Where would you start someone out?
Honestly, whenever someone talks to me about real estate or wanting to get into real estate, I'd like to strongly encourage them to operate operate their business like it's a business. And I know that sounds like the most simplistic idea, right? Duh. But from experience and observation, I feel like a lot of people treat real estate like a side hustle. Like it's something that you do. It's not the thing you do, it's something that you do, right? So if you had a donut shop, right? And you open a donut shop and you're like, okay, I'm open for business. And you just put that sign on that says open and then you just sit and wait. Nobody does that. No one does that. People market, they lean on their spheres, they lean on word of mouth. You do what you have to do to keep your doors open, right? I found that realtors don't do that. We don't do that. On top of the fact that we feel like we're owed business without earning it. And so for me, my advice always to anyone that wants to get in this business, you know, first and foremost is to treat it like a business. Pay your taxes, have an accountant, keep track of your expenses. I mean, really like pour into this like it's a business and it will give back to you. The second thing is, I was just talking to another agent about this yesterday. You'll have low moments. I just feel like I've had, you know, a whole 365 days of a low, right? But what separates you from other people is that you keep going. Like, get up in the morning, you might not have anything going on at all. You might have no clients, no business, no prospects, no nothing. Get up, get your butt to the office, sit down and do something. Do something, because it will start to pay off. But what you put into it, it will give back to you, always. So if this is something that you really want to do, and you want to make this a career, put into it what you want to get out of it. Don't spend a lot of time on pity parties, because I know that's very easy for us to do. Don't sit at home eating ice cream in your robe, checking emails. You are not working your business. Get up, go somewhere and work.
Do something.
That's my
today.
advice.
Do something today.
Thank you
Yep.
so much. That
You're
was
welcome.
really great.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
So,
Appreciate it.
yeah.
Bam.
All right.
I never hit the table
Thank
once.
you.
Yeah.
I did.
I know. It was funny.
Sorry.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. And if you have any questions for Marissa, you can post them there and we'll check in and
Cool.
make sure you get it.
Nice.
So, thanks so
Thanks,
much.
everybody.
Thanks, y'all.
Marissa.
Appreciate it. Thank you.